Are you tired of seeing the same 7 creators on your feed doing the same cringe ass things time and time again? Haven't you seen the same exact shtick repackaged in a bunch of different iterations? Do you actually want to see another minstrel reel? Does a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude bore you yet? I'ma share with you the top 10 things I'm tired of seeing on my feed every time I get on social media, in hopes that niggas will just generally do better.
How did you take that, Keith? I know you're gunning for him.
Yeah, I know.
So how did you
Yeah. It was highly disrespectful.
If you look at the history of blacks in entertainment, you will see the striking similarities between this and the days of the minstrel show. Now, I'm not here to explain to you what that is if you don't already know. I'm here to point out the exact reason we have a problem with this type of buffoonery. And I don't know if he's foreign, and that's why he's ignorant of the historical context of minstrelsy, or if he's young and educated, or if he knows what he's doing. All I know is every time I see him, he's eating food in some super exaggerated clownish manner as if he's never eaten before, and then dancing. And not good dancing either. Complete shucking and jiving. Like totally shucking and jiving. Damn near soft shoe. I mean, he might as well be a white nigga in blackface tap dancing in front of an all-white crowd at the Copacabana in the 1940s. It's weird. Fuck is you doing? I'm tired of all the niggas glorifying the worst parts of the art form that I love called hip-hop. There are definitely a few more problematic than him for sure, like the one who shall not be named, Vladimir and Adam 22. But I'm gonna reserve my opinion on them specifically for another video. This is more about the people in our community that I feel like are kind of setting us back. Goofies that could use their platform for good but choose not to. Like Eck. Y'all be seeing them. Caping for weirdos, disrespecting black women, engaging in pure gossip in public forums with all these impressionable kids watching. And I get the whole they're gonna find and consume the shit anyway, why not get my bag thing. I do get that. But you can also finesse the initial lick into something legit. Case in point, the complex shit. He did exactly that from my perspective. But now you just jumping out the window with it, and I'm tired. If you don't know, bruh, he's 1/3 of a legendary golden era hip-hop group that I love, Brand Nubian. Entering the commercial hip-hop scene in 1989 obviously gives man a unique insight into the earlier days of hip-hop. That's something a lot of public hip-hop journalist figures do not have right now. I feel like that makes him super valuable in this space, and I absolutely hate to even come for any of my elders, but if we can't criticize us, then we ain't as real as a lot of us claim to be. My problems with him: he seems to be on a crazy mission to completely erase Latinos from the inception of hip-hop, which is crazy. I mean, there are two extremes arguing here in this particular convo. One side saying wouldn't be no hip-hop if it wasn't for Latin people. Fuck out of here. And there's the hip-hop was all black from jump. People of Hispanic descent wasn't there until Big Pun and Fat Joe. Obviously, that's bullshit as well. Okay, we get it. Black people started it, yes, but Latinos came in hella early though, like within the first few years, so chill. Then he's got a bitter old head syndrome, you know, the whole onk shit. I don't understand what these kids are doing, therefore it must be trash. Like the pause game. The pause game was invented for you to think about gay shit? That's what he said. The pause game was invented for you to think about gay shit. Huh, nigga? You really think there was a nigga somewhere like, how can I get straight niggas to think about gay shit? I got it. Anytime anyone says anything that could be remotely perceived as gay or even by way of semantics can be implied to be a gay comment, we're gonna say pause, then boom, thinking about gay shit. Now I've heard a few arguments against the pause game. Obviously, this is by far the dumbest. Also, why out of every 10 clips I see of him, 9 of them is Vladimir? You so worried about the state of hip hop and the state of black people getting our recognition, but you fucks with Vlad heavy. They don't go together. Unless you came to rap.
Stop it. Get some help.
This one y'all fault. So I guess technically I'm tired of y'all ass. Maybe not all y'all. Maybe not y'all that's watching this video, but the connective internet y'all that made these motherfuckers famous. I don't think they're bad people or necessarily harmful to the black community, but like, what is this? It's not talent. It's not comedy. It's just mess. It's a mess. Why in the fuck would y'all make these niggas famous? It's like we have to prop up our worst. We have to prop up our worst. Why is that? This is not an us thing either. It's very much a usual thing now in American society as a whole to display the worst we have to offer. I'm sure there's some social science or psych video on here that explain why that is, but we ain't here for that. I'm just here to tell you I'm tired. Again, exactly why is this nigga famous? Probably the most confusing in the bunch. He say a bunch of shit that if you see certain clips might make you think that he actually cares about the well-being of black folk, and that's probably the most deceptive part of this whole grift. Like, you'll really think he has our best interests at heart, but he actually don't give a fuck for real. I see more clips of him degrading us than anything else, and you got so much shit to say about these kids, but you don't offer nothing but a bullet.
I told you the kids in Chicago was doomed 3 years ago, Sean. You didn't believe me. I said the kids in Chicago were doomed because their mamas and daddies won't move. At this point, nigga, if you live in Chicago and you can't make it out, you cursed.
Your police ass is worse than a white supremacist. At least when they see them, the badge gives them a reason to be suspicious. The color gives them a reason to be suspicious. They might actually assume you're well-intentioned and then internalize the trash you saying. You really want to be white. That's what you want. And you think the more I disrespect these niggas, the more money these white folk gonna give me. And unfortunately, you're right. Because we the tastemakers for what sells, and we steady watching this nigga. Whole ass fool. Modern day clown. And we sharing the videos because he got a couple of good points. One of my favorite rappers right now, Che Noir, said, ain't no difference between a Charleston White and the Uncle Ruckus. Couldn't have said it better myself. There's this newer wave of black comedy. I'm not sure how I feel about it. A lot of them are cool, find them funny. I mean, on one hand, it's dope creators like Quinta Brunson that could go from short skits online to a hit network television series. That shit is amongst the best of what internet is capable of, I think. Creators finding a community to share their art with, corporations seeing the commercial potential of it, then being so great that you get a good deal with a lot of creative control and the machine behind it to promote, further producing the success both artistically and commercially. Obviously this is ideal, but rare. Then on the other hand, we have Drewski. And not just him. It's a lot of these niggas that I honestly don't know if they even do stand-up, but are called comedians for some reason. There's this thing you miss when you're thrust into the comedy spotlight from the internet. Fundamentals that are learned from working the crowd are missing. It usually doesn't translate well when they finally do get on stage, but if you don't do stand-up, are you a comedian? Or are you just a comic? I don't know. You tell me. Now, I'm all for breaking conventional norms. But at some point, when I'm watching a skit and I don't know what's happening, I have to ask myself, is this even comedy? I can find something not funny yet still acknowledge the elements that are delivered that make this comedy. There are several acts that blur this line between comedy and performance art, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Most of the time, I can still see the humor. With Drewski, a lot of times I cannot. With that being said, I'm mainly talking about the could have been record stuff. He is getting funnier generally. But I've spent enough time on y'all. I'm tired. Again, I want to make clear that this is not the only case in which I've noticed this. He's just the #1 offender on my feeds. Every time I see will.i.am, they're asking him some questions that ain't got nothing to do with music. And I get it. He's been around a while. Probably done asked him all the music questions your fake journalist mind can already think of. But these answers, man.
I don't understand the complex between Republicans, Democrats, Congress. Like, that whole dance, to me, just turns me off. Right. Apple has more money than the American government has liquid. And you telling me kids ain't learning iOS in freaking third period? That don't make any sense. Gramophones. It first was gramophone. And that gramophone is now our Grammy Award. And we went from selling gramophones and music being played on gramophones to music being played on iPhones. And now we have iTunes.
The answers further validate the fact that he should have never been asked the questions in the first place. And they really be sitting there fake intrigued like he gave some nuanced response when really what he just said was dumb as shit. If it ain't about music, stop asking will.i.am. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm well aware of his business ventures. So he got many business ventures he's doing. I'm a customer of one, as a matter of fact. But being someone who's successful in one area that then comes into a business and gains a little to moderate success is not all of a sudden some business impresario that should be asked all the business-related questions. Stop it. I could use Jaguar Wright as a litmus test of sorts. Like, if we on a date and I ask you how you feel about the last thing she said and you start going on and about Jay-Z and Beyonce and Illuminati, you out of here. You out of here. We might as well get the check because this conversation is over. I'm sure you're aware of Miss Wright. Phenomenal vocalist, undeniable talent, but seemingly also batshit crazy. And it be like that sometimes. I mean, genius often goes hand in hand with problems mentally. It's just that in this day and age, doing and saying the wildest shit gets you the most views. So they just keep interviewing Shorty. Now I be thinking sometimes, she gotta know. Like, she just getting her bag for these interviews and having fun. But other times I just be like, huh? She just be saying the most outrageous shit. Man, listen, I know how when I see it. I hope she's just getting her bag though, I really do. Either way, if you ain't singing, why are you here? You're bringing nothing of value to the conversation, just mess, and I'm tired. If he was there the whole time and seeing all this stuff, why ain't he in jail? They locked up 27 niggas with Young Thug, and they ain't arrest not one other nigga with Diddy on his freako? Abercrombie guy had a Code D on his freako. Ain't nobody talking about that though.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Sidebar, this man was tricking young male models into illegal mind-altered intercourse. We can call it that for YouTube. He was tricking guys under the premise that they would get jobs with Abercrombie, like modeling jobs and stuff like that, allegedly. Real quiet about this one though.
You don't find that suspicious?
But Gene Deal, you was there all these years and you seen all this stuff. Ain't helped nobody. You should get the freako too, Pride. And how long you finna tell these people business before you run out of stories? And then what you gonna do? Make some more up. Nobody gonna argue what you're saying when you're slandering a monster. It's weird.
So on that note, you're done.
I'm tired. Now, I'm not gonna act like bruh didn't have his moments. And as far as black stand-up is concerned, he's definitely on the list of the top, I don't know, 100, maybe 50, depending on who makes it. So there's that. He's a top black comic for sure. The dispute is where on the list. There's certainly a group of people that are gonna wanna hear what he has to say, but shit like this.
But I feel like some of us should be slaves again. Because it just, the way we operate, we are so easily moved by the dumbest shit. You know, to the fact that some of us would allow Trump to just insult us like that and still go blacks for Trump. It's insane.
Yeah, and you're a piece of shit. There's these people in the world of media and entertainment that are just trying to say the shit that they know are going to anger people, like contrarians, instigators, provocateurs. They are needed, I guess. They can be indispensable in certain situations. I usually find them refreshing. But then there's niggas like this. Some motherfuckers just seem like they're on a mission to set us the fuck back. And they usually put white women on a pedestal and disrespect black women. If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably one of them. Again, he's funny, but not laugh out loud funny. I don't think I've ever laughed out loud at anything I've ever heard or see him say that wasn't on Mad TV when I was a child. I'm tired. This is another one where we as a people are the problem. There's absolutely no goddamn reason we should all know who Shamar is. But we do. This nigga's low-key famous. I want all of you watching right now to think about this. What in the exact fuck is he famous for? Why? What does he do that's worthy of garnering this type of fame that he has? What skill? What talent? It makes me question myself. Am I asking too much for people with a fan base? If that's what you call people that can't look away from a train wreck, to have some type of talent? Is that an unreasonable expectation in 2025? I legit be struggling to see the appeal in some of these internet celebrities. Like, not for me, but what do these people watch this figure for? What do they get out of it? A lot of times I can come up with nothing good. We laughing at this man, not with him. And he's just ignorant enough to not know, or know and not care because the bad good. Either way, we the problem. So on this one, I gotta give it to us. Us. I'm tired. Please cut the bullshit out. We can't find new artists making the music we want to hear. We can't find new comedians actually writing skits and putting in hours editing video. It's an oversaturated, never-ending stream of content. The algorithm can't find the right people for the right content because there's so much trash taking up space. Hell, somebody tell me who posting little Sodak Black videos.
Yeah, you such a lunatic, acting like a lunatic. You so slow that you can fly. I don't get the shooter shit. You so slow, you can't even drive off. You can't even knock off. You're not cooler than me. Outside a cat shop, cause a trilogy. I'ma dirt you on the grass like I'm a duty seat.
We're not gonna find the next Issa, Quinta, Woody McClain, Zach Fox, Melvin Gregg, if all we seeing is pop the balloon and shucking and jiving videos. I don't know if you heard, but this new generation, man, they kind of cook. I mean, if any of y'all watching, I don't know. If you were born after 1995, you probably cook. And I'm gonna tell you why I say this. I'm a music dude, so the best way I can explain it is when I was 12, I was listening to It's Dark and Hell is Hot, 400 Degrees, Doc's The Name 2000. Now take for instance my youngest daughter's generation. In order to really convey what I mean here, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit, but we'll get to that in a second. So if we look at the generations as are classified today, my mom is Gen X, my grandparents are boomers. I feel like I'm an exennial, but if I'm being completely accurate, I'm technically a millennial. And for these purposes, we're looking at the black community specifically. The world the boomers came up in is drastically different from the one we reside within today. Better in some ways, worse in others, but that's a whole nother video. Again, comment below if you want to see that video. I just might make it. But the boomers were having kids in majority two-parent households, which means they had two different family trees of knowledge and experience to pass down to our parents, a lot of which was highly valuable information, historical context about what it's like to be black in this country, what it is to be black in this country, a lot of baggage, one could argue, but in those bags were things that you needed to navigate this world that was in no way, shape, form, or fashion designed to benefit us. In fact, it's a system designed specifically and explicitly to exploit us and hinder our progress. Those bags, that while heavy and burdensome to carry, contain critical information. Our parents' generation, Gen X, were then systemically and covertly oppressed because the overt oppression was protested during the Civil Rights era. So the establishment now figures out new ways to oppress, then we get further criminalized. They make up new laws to lock us up in droves. They bring drugs and more liquor stores into the neighborhoods and use those as tools to further oppress. They give everybody but us loans and grants to open businesses in our communities. They continue racist lending practices for home loans, but further it now by engaging in predatory lending in communities of color. They really had a raw deal, and we don't talk about it enough, in my opinion. Then you get to us. Mostly raised in single parent households, even when not, a lot of us were latchkey kids that barely saw our parents anyway. They worked so hard for so long, and they gave us as many tools as possible, but there's just not enough time in the day, days in the month, etc. Couple that with times changing, so fewer and fewer of those tools handed down are actually working today. You know, as we're coming of age, we're seeing some of the rules that our parents gave us that came from our grandparents' generation aren't applying anymore. There's new systems in place that our parents either never were exposed to due to prison or drug addiction or just too busy grinding to have time to worry about it. We were the generation that slipped through the cracks. It's a mixed bag, really. Of my peers, a good bit of us did pretty okay, considering a few did well, but there are a lot of victims of circumstance and or bad choices, and now they or their families are dealing with the consequences of that. Us survivors, though, we still got a little more time to get our shit together. So now we have kids, and it sometimes seems like collectively as a generation, all we've learned is that we absolutely have to break these generational curses. Things like whooping our kids and telling them to be seen and not heard, that shit mostly went out the window. Basically, the shit our ancestors learned from the slave master had to get the fuck out of here. But still, we're kind of lost for a multitude of reasons. Not to mention, as far as time, we're worse off as our parents for the most part. Seems like you gotta have at least 2 jobs to make ends meet, unless you live in the middle of the nowhere or work remotely. In the meantime, what are we passing down to our kids? I say all this to state the fact that during all those transitions, we lost hella recipes and tools out of that bag. We're coming up short in a lot of ways due to lack of information and historical context being inherited. This leads to a whole bunch of kids these days conversations amongst old heads. And even when we do try to discuss the issues with the younger generations, we explain things as if context is already there because it is for us. Then we get mad when they don't get it, when the fact is they don't get it because we didn't give it to them like our parents gave it to us. Context that will tell you what's wrong with these images.
You know, it was highly disrespectful.